Hi, Catherine. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Rachel?
Doing great. So with a show like The Come You Keep, it is very fun because I'm a millennial and all my millennial friends are obsessed with it, which normally an ABC drama, I'm like, oh, my mom would be like, I need to watch
Right.
this show. It's really good. And it's really kind of fun to see my generation being obsessed with a series like this. And so for you, what has been kind of your favorite reaction to the show so far? Because it is like everywhere. We're all kind of screaming about it.
I think I keep joking and saying it's like the kitchen sink of shows. And I think there's a little something for everybody, which is exciting to hear that a millennial likes it just as much as their mom does, because it's a love story, it's family drama, you have the CIA con artist heist stuff. Um, yeah, it's just a really fun ride.
Yeah, and I think it is truly awesome to kind of see your character's relationship with Milo's and how they kind of like it does come across as the fan fiction we've all read growing up and kind of like loved to see. And so now it's in a network television show. So it's obsessive almost for a lot of us watching it. And so for you though, when you are kind of making that relationship and the show does hinge so completely on that dynamic, what did you and Milo do to kind of like understand how you both are approaching these characters and their relationship to each other to make it work for us?
Yeah, I mean, people have talked a lot about our chemistry, which is really flattering and it's exciting to hear. And we've actually talked about it a lot because first we had the luxury of some rehearsals before we ever stepped on set.
Mhm.
But we've talked a lot about how chemistry is this intangible thing, but it's so much beyond the physical, it's about
Mhm.
trusting each other. It's about that emotional connection. And I think because we trust each other as acting partners, it really helps. Plus, like all those steamy scenes, when they call cut, I mean, we're just being silly and goofing off and joking around the whole time anyway. And there's literally so many people looking at you that it's the least romantic thing you could possibly do.
But I do love. I think it was the last episode that came out where she meets his family for the first time, and they're at the bar, and you kind of see like how she's interacting with everybody, and like his parents are love it, but like they're all. It's just very funny how the family reacts to this relationship because they are honest with each other in that first scene, but they just both think that they're joking around. And so it is hilarious to continue to see it like, no, she works, she's a federal agent and that is a con man. And there's no lies. You guys just didn't believe the other one.
Yeah.
Um, and so as we continue to see the show and see that dynamic grow, what is kind of your favorite relationship that you get to work with as an actress that is not obviously the love story?
Honestly, I love it all. We joke and we say it feels like we're on five different shows because sometimes it feels like I'm the CIA officer and then I go into
Mhm.
work and I'm at this outside and then out in the field doing these crazy things. And then other times I'm just the younger sister that comes home and my family's very confused. They're like, have you always been passionate about logistics? Like, why is this what you're doing right now? And she's just like, well, I don't know. And I love that her brother is just they I love that they champion each other, and
Mhm.
I love that they are really real with each other. And in the second episode she does eventually end up telling him that she is CIA and that's the first person she's ever disclosed that to.
Mhm.
um and he's just that one person in her life that tells it to her as it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love the relationship between her and her brother just because like you can tell that there is a love and a trust. Even if like we do know he's going through some stuff that he's maybe not sharing with her, it is
Yeah,
still very nice to see a brother and sister who are just like on the same page and like we love one another. This is great.
yeah,
We're a team within our family,
yeah. Because,
which yeah.
like Tim Chu, who plays David, I mean, David is the golden child, and that's a lot of
Mhm.
pressure in itself, too, to rise up and always, it's all about expectations And with the Hill family, it's all about optics because they're in
Mm-hmm.
politics. And it's brought up this question for me just in general as I work on this character, about trust. Like going back what we were talking about in love, when you start falling in love with somebody, it's so exciting and it's terrifying. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, can I trust you with my heart? And with her family, it's like, is it bullshit? Like, are we doing these things because you mean it? Or is it for show because we need to
Mm-hmm.
put on a certain air? And with work, depending on who she's dealing with, it's like, can I trust you? Or are you telling me the truth, whether it's an asset or an enemy? It's interesting to me.
Yeah, and it is such a great like comparison between the families, I think, because they are all putting on a show. Like the Nicoletti family is putting on their show, and then the Hill family is putting on theirs. And they, while they both think they have better reasons for the other one, it is it really, and it kind of interesting to unpack all of the outside of the love story, all of the dynamics that we're seeing unfold. Because I really do love David's relationship with her versus the Nicoletti siblings, because those two, like you can tell who thinks they're in charge and who actually is,
Yeah.
and it's very fun. But with a show like this that is kind of, they haven't been fading out, but they are not what people are talking about as much as they used to be on network television. With a show now that, like The Company You Keep, that is kind of reviving that feeling in a lot of ways. Is that exciting for you as a performer to kind of know, like, yeah, this show is bringing back the network drama in a way that it hasn't really been for the last 5 years or whatever it's been?
Yeah, and thank you for that. That's exciting to hear. I think that's what it's supposed to be. Listen, I grew up on network TV. I grew
Mm-hmm.
up because I love shows like Grey's Anatomy, and I couldn't wait to go home, where it was 100% DVR'd on my Thursday to watch with all of my friends. And there's something really special about that, like really carving out time to watch a show that you love and looking forward to the next episode the next week. And I think what's so special about our show is uh, we have that audience and you get to do that. But then you can also stream it the next day on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have at least 3 episodes out, and people are getting excited to start binging shows, binging our show. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of like, choose your adventure. Whatever you want to do, we've got you covered.
Yeah, and it is funny because of the Oscars it wasn't on. And I do know that like me and my friends are like, wait, do we have a Company That You Keep episode to watch? No, damn it. Now I'm mad because we don't have an episode to watch. But it is very like just seeing kind of how Emma and Charlie's relationship has unpacked throughout the last 3 episodes, and knowing like in the back of all of our heads, like, hey, this really for sure can't end well for anybody. Um, has been a like one of the more interesting like things I've seen on TV in a while, because it's like we all are in on it, but the characters aren't. And so what is something that you can tease about that relationship and that dynamic in the coming episodes for people to get excited about?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we just finished filming the finale this
Mm-hmm.
past week, and I was reflecting that nobody you meet in the pilot is like, nobody in the pilot is who you see in the finale, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's awesome.
Everybody goes through a journey, every
Mm-hmm.
single character. And like you were saying before, in the pilot episode, Charlie and Emma meet and they play this kind of silly line game with each other. And they actually do tell each other the
Mm-hmm.
truth. It's just, it gets so lost in all of the lies that it's just is another thing that's glossed over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you can't lie forever. And at some point, they will catch up to you. And in the very next episode, there's a really big truth that's going to come out. And I think that's what's fun about our show. You're not going to have to wait too long for there to be really big.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes me really excited because I love it. Listen, most my friends and millennial women love Milo, so no matter what, people were gonna watch the show. But it is really fun to kind of see just that relationship and just like how good it is on TV, which fascinating. But what you said about the arcs is really cool, because I know TV has an advantage with characters specifically and giving them these arcs and letting a story actually take its time and play out in a way that movies don't really have the option for. And so for you as an actress, is that something that you love about the medium of television versus something else? Like, do you like that you get to go on these journeys with your characters and explore their arcs over, big plot point things like in movies and whatnot?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm just starting to figure out who Emma is now, 10 episodes in, and knock on
Mhm.
wood, we get a second season because I'm like, first season is interesting. Everybody's working together for the first time. You're figuring out your characters, you're figuring out the story of it all and how everyone fits together. And so it's been really exciting and fun for us. And like you said, I mean, honestly, I get a rescript and I'm like, that's what happens. What? Okay, let's do it.
Love
Yeah.
it. Oh my God, I can't wait. I love it. Truly was so upset when the Oscars derailed the company you keep. I was like, but it's Sunday. It's
Yeah,
supposed to
and
be
you
this
know
The Last of Us.
what I also really love going back to the Nicolettis and the Hills,
Hmm.
the Nicolettis in some ways feel like the underdog,
Hmm.
because they also only take from people who are undeserving, at least whoever they deem to be undeserving, right? Um,
Hmm.
but I think it's really interesting because the Hills actually didn't come from money. Like the mom, Grace, she came from money, and actually her family almost disowned her because Joe, who she marries, was very poor. He's a first generation Korean American, and he didn't have a lot of money. They met in college, and so she chose love. And it's interesting because sometimes we don't talk about the family that works really hard and fights really hard for that elusive American dream, and they got it. And I think maybe in some ways they've lost sight of where they came from and what it took to get there.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it's important to celebrate the successes too, especially when we see them like that.
Yeah. I love the more we learn about the Hill family, I love them. Like David, I'm like, what's going on with him? Someone save him. I need someone to protect
Someone see
him.
them.
Someone save him. Someone needs to protect him. Um, for a quick final question. So obviously the show is getting bigger and bigger with each new week. For someone who has not yet watched The Company You Keep, what would be your pitch to get them sitting down on Sundays ready to watch?
Hmm. Um, no one is who they appear to be. Nothing is what you think it's going to be. And it's just a fun ride. Enjoy it.
It really is. Thank you so much for talking with me today. I love the show. You guys have ads in New York that are like three blocks. And so me and my friends keep trying to film it because my one friend saw it and was like, "Did you see that?" I was like, "No, I missed it." And so now we're like trying to find them.
That's so cool because I'm from New York. That's so exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, my parents immigrated to the U.S. from Korea, and my dad at one point was selling umbrellas in Times Square, and now there's like a two
Mhm.
block digital ad that's an entire building tall. It's really insane.
Yeah, I think I was like, I think it was Union Square. They have the three video thing on the wall, and you can see it's like The Company You Keep ad on there.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Thank you
Of
for sharing that.
of course. Have a great day. And again, I can't wait to see the rest of the season. I'm obsessed.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.
Of course. Have a great one.
Bye.
Bye.